What's up, everybody? This is episode 78 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to everybody that's been supportive of the brand so far. And those who haven't seen my episodes, go check it out on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. But today we have a very special guest. He hails from White Plains, New York. Played at Archbishop Stepinac and was a Division II All-American at Philadelphia University, a.k.a. what is now known as Jefferson University in Philly. He was one of the CHSAA's top guards in high school. Today I have with you Mr. Kylan Guerra. Kylan, thank you for coming on to share your testimony, man.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you for having me.
Indeed. So my very first question is, since you're still an active player, what motivates you to be successful in the game of basketball?
I mean, right now, my motivation, I've wanted to be a pro pretty much since I was in high school, whether, going overseas was always a goal of mine. So, after going through my college career and having a successful college career, my motivation is just to continue, this game has, shown me roads that, not a lot of people can see. And my motivation is to just use the game to take it as far as I can in life, travel the world using basketball, and basketball is my love. Basketball has always been my love. And, that's what motivates me. I feel like there's no better life than playing basketball for a living. So, for me, it's just doing what you love, and basketball is what I love. And while I'm still young, I want to be the best at what I can do.
Absolutely. So let's start from the beginning. When did basketball begin for you?
Basketball, I mean, I still remember I have pictures of my dad when I was a baby. My dad put the basketball in my crib. So it was kind of written from when I was a baby. The game was instilled in me from my father. So he put the basketball in my crib. He took me to all these camps, and my first one of the toys in the house, one of them 6 foot, the 4 to 6 foot basketball hoops. I couldn't leave that. And organized basketball probably started about 5-6 years old when I started going to Kips Bay, the Boys and Girls Club in the Bronx. And then, I just loved the game since I was a kid. I just gravitated towards it. So my love for the game probably stems from my dad and starting me up right.
So talk about White Plains, the city of White Plains. Like, what's the basketball competition like up there?
White Plains. So how I see White Plains, there are a lot of hoopers that, you wouldn't really know about because, so for me, I always played AAU in the city. I played with Riverside for a long time. I played Riverside probably from age 7 or 8 to 12 or 13. So growing up, before, playing well. And then I went to Westchester Hawks, and, that's a team based out of Westchester, but we didn't really have a lot of White Plains guys, but we did have a lot of guys from Westchester, from the whole 914 area. And, White Plains, to me, the whole White Plains, Greenburgh, Elmsford, I feel like it's underrated. There's a lot of talent out here. It's just getting the right opportunity, for which high school you go to, which AAU team you play for, and how you handle yourself on the court and the classroom as well. So for me, as long as, my parents have always told me grades come first. So that was always, number one. It was always grades before sports. So I always got that done first. So I was able to, have a school of my choice and, have a better understanding of where I want to be, in school first, and then let the game speak for itself. But I like the city of White Plains. There's a lot of places to play. There's a lot of competition out here. And yeah, I like it.
One of those places is Gardella Park. I like that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year I actually went to this event. I forgot the name of it. I know it was a 1-day event at Gardella Park, but the Brook Basketball Club. So they had an event at Gardella Park. You know, shout out to the Brook, and you know it's a nice little spot, 2 courts and everything, like a good spot for some tournaments over there. Did you ever play there when you were younger?
The Brook. I don't remember a tournament called the Brook.
Yeah,
I
it's
might
younger.
have.
That's why. Yeah, it's up and coming.
Yeah.
It's only a couple, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure you know about Gardella Park.
Again, Gardella.
Yeah, Gardella Park. It's on Hold on, let me look it up. Yeah, it's a park in White Plains. It's right by the bus terminal.
Ferris?
Yeah, Ferris Avenue.
Oh, Ferris. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ferris Avenue.
I played at Ferris for a long time.
Okay, yeah, Ferris.
Yeah.
The Ferris Ave tournament.
I've been playing in Ferris, you know, seventh, 8th grade and into high school, and then the men's league. So yeah, I know that's a good league, you know, especially playing at night. The whole city comes out. Definitely Gardella Park is where it's at.
Yeah, man. So, what were some of your favorite tournaments to play in when you were a kid, from elementary on up to high school?
Mm-hmm.
Well, up and through high school, I should say.
What was the question again?
What was your some of your favorite tournaments to play in as a youth?
Oh, my favorite tournaments, you know, definitely, you know, around the country, I really like the Garner Nationals, where they're actually playing the NBA playoffs at Wide World of Sports. That, you know, that complex is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, going to Orlando to walk that complex and to play in that gym, you know, that was special to do that, you know, when I was younger. I like the King James tournament out in Ohio, but more locally, I played in Citywide a lot. Citywide is in where's that? I think it's in Manhattan. The Gauchos tournaments. Gauchos had some good tournaments. But yeah, there's a lot of leagues. Trying to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I played in a lot of leagues though, growing up. West 4th Street, you know. Rumble in the Bronx. Rumble in the Bronx was actually one of my favorite ones too. Definitely like Rumble in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm. So, what made you decide to choose Stepinac for high school?
When I was in 6th grade, my dad was coaching us, and I was on varsity. I was up on varsity, and I was playing with Malik Omes, who was in 8th grade at the time, and the coach at Stepinac, you know, wanted Malik. And through recruiting Malik, he had saw me as a young talent in 6th grade, and then at the same time, you know, my dad was the coach. So, you know, my dad and him grew a connection, and, you know, between 7th and 8th grade, you know, I went to the camps. I was invited to their private workouts even before I was, you know, a student at Stepinac. So I felt like, you know, it was an easy decision to choose Stepinac. You know, I wanted to go to Catholic school because Mount Carmel, which is so yeah, there was just a connection between the coach, myself, and it started, you know, younger. So I got more and more comfortable with him and the program through 7th and 8th grade. So as soon as I was in 9th grade, you know, it was easy. It was an easy decision to go to Step.
Did White Plains ever have a chance?
Well, the thing is, I live in the Elmsford Village, the Elmsford school district. So if I was gonna go public school, I probably would have had to go to Hamilton. And you know, I wouldn't say I was gonna go to Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I already had mindset, when I was younger, my mind was set that I was going to Stepinac. I know that, I think at the time they were in the A, but I knew they were going into the double A by the
Right.
time I've been there. So,
So it's like a
it was
district thing
probably,
up there.
Stepinac was my first choice for years.
So it's like a district thing up
Yeah,
there.
it is. So it's
Okay.
like wherever, yeah, the school, whatever village you're in, like the school district, that's the public school you go to. So for me, but I wasn't really ever thinking about public school. From 7th, 8th grade, I knew I was going to Stepinac.
So talk about your days at Stepinac when they were in the A division.
hmm So I started when I was at Stepinac. So growing up, before I even got to Stepinac, I was always, the smallest guy on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And that continued when I was at Stepinac. And, I started on the freshman team. And, I basically, at Stepinac, I kind of had, the career or, how it's laid out. You go from freshman to JV to varsity. And, not a lot of people, do that. A lot of people go to JV to varsity or from freshman to varsity, or even, are luckily to play varsity for a year. So, and I feel like the reason I did that was because, one, they were really guard heavy when I was there. They had DeMarcus, Malik. They had a lot of guards when I was there. So it was kind of,
Yeah, I remember Josh
it made
James in the
sense for me
backcourt
to,
with you. I
play
think.
freshman, get a lot of minutes, get better. Mhm. Now he was 2 years older, so
Okay.
he was playing with Walter and Naeem and Malik and those guys. So, I played JV, and, I was always smaller. And it wasn't until, junior year of high school when I actually started growing and catching up in height to everybody. Because like, I was the shortest one by a lot. Like, it wasn't no, maybe this guard and this guard. Like, I was always the smallest one. But then I started catching up, and that's kind of how Stepinac went from playing freshman to JV to varsity.
Mm. So talk about your junior year at Stepinac.
So my junior year at Stepinac was when Coach Tim, Coach Tim Philp, he had a kid on the way, so he decided to step down, and we got a new coach, Coach Herman, and we were small that year. Walter, Naeem, DeMarcus, myself. So we played a 4-guard lineup, and felt like I was more of a shooting guard when I played on the court with them. As being a junior, when you got seniors ahead of you who play your position, obviously they're gonna want the ball in their hands. They're making the decisions, which I was fine with and I understood as a junior. But I knew that if I wanted to play at the next level, I knew as a junior that I was gonna have to take my game to the next level as a point guard. So it wasn't so senior year is when I really exploded at, but junior year I played my role. I was more of a shooting guard at Stepinac, but senior year I was the better version of myself, taking over the point guard position.
Yeah, man, you had some really good years at Stepinac. Well, the two great years. So yeah, your senior year.
Mm.
Talk about that. That experience.
So yeah, senior year, I remember I started the year on a tear. I think I was first 5 games, I was probably averaging somewhere around 30 points. And, that's not something that I had, I didn't have a goal to say, all right, this is my last year. I'm gonna just go out and get 30. But you're hot, that summer of junior year into senior year, I prepared a lot. I put in a lot of work, and it showed on the court because I went from, somebody who was just standing on the wing, standing on the corner ready to shoot. And now as a senior, I just transformed my game to, a playmaker, somebody who can get his shot up off the dribble, shoot from, anywhere inside half court, and have confidence in my game. And that was when I really took off. So senior year, I think we had Jordan Tucker came in for his first year at Stepinac. And yeah, so with and DeMarcus had that was when DeMarcus had stopped playing for football because he was going to Stony Brook on a football scholarship. So Walter, Naeem, and DeMarcus had left, and I kind of felt like this was my time to shine. And I put in a lot of work in the off season for me to have that type of year.
How was it playing with Jordan Tucker?
It was good. I mean, the crazy part is I've played with Jordan Tucker way back before Stepinac. I played with him, he at Mount Carmel. We grew up in the same area. We both played at Riverside. So, I had a feel for Jordan's game. This was the first time I actually played with him when he was 6'7", when he, sprouted up and he was the top recruit that he was. So playing with him, it was more like, it was kind of like a dynamic duo. Because, I played with him when I was younger. And then, growing up, we're seeing each other's games develop and what we can really do. Because when we're playing, when you're kids, you're kind of, just developing the game. You're trying to have fun with it. But at this age, my senior year, his sophomore year, we knew we were really trying to take our games to the next level. And, we both had really good seasons together.
So, as far as AAU, so you play with New Heights the last couple years of high school?
Yeah, I ended playing with New Heights after Riverside and after Westchester Hawks. I ended at New Heights.
Talk about playing with them on the gauntlet.
So at New Heights, so I didn't play. So when I played with New Heights, it was because I went prep school after Stepinac. So that year going into my prep school was when I played with New Heights, and we were playing with a lot of kids who were also going to prep school. I played with there were two kids as a variant I played with. It was more so, the prep school team rather than the AAU circuit team. So it was, but it was a good experience because we were able to travel, everywhere, a lot of places around the East Coast, and get some, good run in front of college. Even though we weren't, important live period, it was a time for us to still get an extra year to hone our skills and, just get better.
Westchester Hawks, man. RIP to them. Unfortunately, they're no longer around. But what was it like playing for them?
Yeah, Westchester Hawks, those were probably I had a lot of fun. I would say that was probably the most fun I had playing AAU basketball. I had a lot of fun with Riverside and those guys, but when I was at Westchester Hawks, I was older and I had more of a understanding for basketball and how it's really played. When I was younger at Riverside, I was just getting started and we were just learning the game. But when I was at Westchester Hawks, I was playing with a lot of guys who were serious about the game like myself. And, we were older, we were wiser, and we were all from the area. So that was what was it made it fun. We were all from the 914 area. So going against competition in New York and, basically around the country, we went to nationals a couple and we placed top 15. And, we kind of had a chip on our shoulder because, we didn't get a lot of respect in the city, but until we beat a lot of those teams when I was at Westchester. We didn't, teams looked at us like, oh, those are the boys from Westchester, but we showed up and we beat some of these teams in some big tournaments. So for me, that was a fun part of playing with AAU.
So, yeah. How was your recruitment in high school?
Yeah, so my recruitment, it started slower than you see now with a lot of these kids. So I didn't get my first offer until probably 7 games into my senior season. And this was, like I just told you, this was when I just started, exploding for, 28 to 30 a night to start the season. So I didn't get my first offer, which was a D2 YIT, and then a couple more offers came, Dominican and Southern Connecticut and those schools. So what happened was, I had verbally committed to NYIT, but the coach had, stepped away from the program, the option of going to Kent, which was my prep school. And for me, that was a no-brainer because I was still developing, into my body. I was still getting stronger. I was still getting taller. So, my family made a decision that, I got a couple offers coming out of Stepinac, but, I feel like if I go to prep school, I'll be able to have an opportunity to get better, to get stronger, to get faster, bigger, smarter, and, actually continue getting better at the point guard position. Because, like I said, I was more of a shooting guard my junior year, and senior season, I was scoring a lot my senior season. I think I ended up averaging close to 25 a game. And, I wanted to go to prep school and, play that role in college. So for me, I went to the Kent school in Kent, Connecticut. More D2 offers and a couple D1 offers from like Army, a couple preferred walk-on spots from, American and Colgate and, schools like Bucknell. And then I had, like probably 10 or so D2 offers from all around the East Coast. And Philadelphia University came to me, and, the coach had seen me play at Kent a couple times. And, Coach Herb McGee, he's a Hall of Famer, and that's who I ended up playing for. But for me, it was like, he's a Hall of Famer. There's not a lot of coaches who are in college who are in the Hall of Fame. And to be a Division II coach who was at a school for 50 plus years and to have won a national championship and make the play times as he did, I felt like that was the best opportunity for me coming out of Kent. I went on my official visit there. I was shown love by all of the coaches, all of the players, and, even the city of Philadelphia was nice. So I felt like that was the best spot coming out of prep school for me. I would have had an opportunity to play as a freshman. So from Kent, that's when I chose Philadelphia. Off, it wasn't really, it never was a goal of mine to just D1 or bust. Go somewhere where I could be there for 4 years and have a career rather than, just go to a D1 spot just to say I was D1 or get some minutes here and there, So like the way my route ended up, I would take my route when, D1 and testing the waters and see what could have been.
Indeed, man. Shout outs to the Stepinac graduating class of 2015 and the Kent class of 2016. How was the prep school experience?
Prep school was great. It was great for me because I was around people who had the same goal as me. I dormed with 2 mates, and, all we did, we went to class 8 to 2, 8 to 3, and then we were in the gym for a lot of the night. The fall season, we did a lot of yoga as a team to get prepared, a lot of weight, a lot of conditioning. But the fun part about it was, we all had the same goal. We all wanted to go to college on a scholarship, and pushing each other because we, even though we wanted to go to college on a scholarship, we also wanted to win a championship there. And so at prep school, it's not like you could, leave. You couldn't leave the campus unless you got, signed out or something, but, you were on the campus. So you were not really forced because you could do what you what you want around the campus, but it made sense for us to just always be in the gym. You know, we were in the gym 3-4 hours a day, whether it was, you know, weight room or conditioning or, you know, getting shots up or running pickup. And for me, you know, a guy that loves basketball as much as I do, to go to a school where it seems like they love basketball close to the amount that I do, that was the fun part of it. So even though, you know, 8 to 2, we got our work done, but after that, it was solely focused on basketball. So that was amazing for me.
So talk about,
and shout out to my coach, Coach Coolum at Kent, because he did a lot for me. And, you know, he did a lot for me. He, you know, I came in as a post grad, so he, you know, didn't really see me play live, but, you know, he saw the clips, and then, you know, he gave me the rock, and he trusted me as his point guard to run his team. And he did a lot of, you know, he was on the phone a lot for me, with coaches and stuff. So I got to shout out to Jason Coolum, because he did a lot for me at Kent.
Indeed. Shout out to Coach Coolum. So Philly, your freshman year, you averaged 11 points per game, and you were the CACC Rookie of the Year. Talk about that, you know, that first year and that transition from high school / prep school to college.
So the transition to college, it seemed easier because I went to prep school. You know, I played at a high level at prep school. We were in the NEPSAC, and, you know, the NEPSAC has competition. And so the transition to college seemed pretty seamless. And so I started behind two, one was a sophomore and one was a senior at the time. They were 2 point guards playing ahead of me at the time. But, you know, I always had speed, and I was the fastest kid on the court, and I always had, you know, drive where I wanted to be on the court, you know. And when I got the opportunity as a freshman, you know, I kind of just ran away with it, you know. So even though I started the seasons behind, you know, a couple of these players, because, you know, they were older, they were seasoned with the program, you know, it came to a point where around December, I was playing with them, and I was playing 40 minutes a game, because, you know, I got on the court and I just played. You know, I didn't really have a role as a freshman. You know, we had guards who were point guard, who had the point guard responsibilities. We had guards who were shooters, and we had the bigs who was the center. And then for me as a freshman, I was just out there playing basketball. So, you know, I was more of a combo guard my freshman year, and, you know, I got the opportunity to play. And as soon as I got that opportunity, I just ran with it, to where, you know, I felt like I had the coach's 100% complete trust. And, you know, to get that as a freshman, you know, it's hard. And you're playing for a coach like Coach Herb McGee, who's known for, you know, playing his guys. He's known for playing, you know, his starters and his key guys for majority of the game, close to 35 to usually 40 minutes a game. So to get into that kind of rotation as a freshman was key, and it showed a lot that, you know, that he trusted me as a freshman. And, you know, I just like I said, I just took the opportunity and ran with it.
Indeed. So your sophomore year comes, and you lead your team to the NCAA tournament. Talk about the Division II version of the Big Dance.
Man, it was, you know, to win the championship, to get there, is probably my favorite moment at college at Jefferson. So did the conference championships at our place, and we ended up winning the championship on our home court. And to cut down the nets in front of our fans, and to actually, you know, hold a trophy and have the net around your neck, and to, you know, have the banner that's going up in the gym forever, like that's a feeling that and, you know, the D2 version, you know, we see on TV with the CBS and the TNT and the TBS, and I think, you know, how it is for them. But, you know, it's for the D2 version, it's kind of similar. You know, there's TV timeouts, you know, there's cameras all over the place. There's you know, sideline interviewers, there's sideline commentators, it's not the big that you see on TV, but it's still, you know, the NCAA tournament at the end of the day. It's still high level basketball, and it's still, you know, people fighting to continue on, because, you know, in the NCAA tournament, you lose, you're done. And, you know, it's high level basketball, and there's a lot of, you know, determination, a lot of will to win that game, because, you know how it is. It's just survive and advance. So even though the production isn't the same that you see on TV, the fight and the level of competition is just the same. You know, you just want to win. You just want to advance. You just want to go on to the next round, go on to the Elite Eight, the Final Four, because, you know, the more you play, the more you move on, the closer you are to that national championship. And, you know, to win a national championship at any level is ridiculous. You know, that's a dream for everybody.
Absolutely.
So the only thing I would say is different is the whole TV production. It's the whole TV production. Everything else is the same.
Now, being that you were in Philly, did you ever get into playing any open runs with, you know, some of the D1 guys from Nova, LaSalle, Penn, Temple, Drexel, etc.?
Yeah. So, after my sophomore year, we had stayed on campus, the returning guys, and we had linked up with the dudes at Penn and Drexel, and we played pickup the entire summer at what's Penn's gymnasium called?
The Palestra?
Building. I can't believe I don't know.
The Palestra?
The Palestra, yes. The Palestra. Yeah. So we were in the Palestra, you know, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, hooping against, you know, I would bring my guys, my 5, Penn would bring their 5, Drexel would bring their 5, LaSalle would bring their 5. And, you know, obviously we're the only D2 school there, but you would, if you were, you know, just somebody who didn't know what school these kids play for, you wouldn't notice that we were, you know, the D2 team and everybody else was the D1 team. You know, it was good competition. You know, it felt like we were battling for something. It felt like it was my guys versus your guys. It felt like a battle of Philly. So even though it was pickup, I feel like that was fun because it was a sense of pride with it, which is just like the game. So even though you're playing a pickup in the summer, which usually doesn't mean much, you're playing for your rep basically in Philly, for, you know, your reputation around Philly that you're a team not to be messed with. So that was fun. We actually played my sophomore year. We played Temple in a game, and I think we lost by 10. But that was a game, and we had fans from our school pop out. You know, they had their band, their cheerleaders. We played at the Lyra Coward Center, so that was their preseason game, and we gave them a fight. Like, you know, I can't say enough about my team. You know, we showed, you know, every year, freshman through senior year, we showed up against top competition.
I mean, to be able to play against Division I schools, playing D2 and only lose by 10, that's not bad right there.
And yeah, we felt like we could have won that game. You know, we left. We weren't happy, you know, that we lost by 10. It wasn't, when we left, it was like, you know, we could have won that game. You know, we left pissed off that we didn't win the game because we went in, you know, that we knew we had a good team. We know we trust in the 5 that we put on the floor that we're going to execute properly. And the coach believed in us and we believe in the coach. So it wasn't even like one of those, we're playing a D1 team, you know, let's just try our best. Nah, we went in there and we tried to beat them in their spot. And it was a good game throughout. And, you know, we left mad, but, you know, we watched the film and we kept moving. So that was, even though we on the chin.
Man, if only in those pickup runs, were there any cameras around?
Nah, there wasn't any there wasn't any cameras around. I wish there was, because, you know, if I could go back now, this time and just rewatch it, because it's a lot of intensity in those pickups.
Right.
It's summer pickup. We're playing inside the palestra, and we're feeling like we just got invited, and we're trying to actually beat these teams in a game. We were beating them in games. It was good. It was great run to play Drexel, play LaSalle, and play Penn, and we played Temple. We never played Nova, but we played all the other Power 5 schools, and we matched up.
So talk about your junior year.
So my junior year was when I fully took over, actually sophomore year I took over the point guard role, but junior year was when I took it to another level, because, my sophomore year we had one of our the best player on our team was a senior. He was a shooting guard, and, now going into my junior year, he graduates and we didn't have a senior. We had one senior who was coming off a ACL injury, so he never really played as much. So my junior year, we were young seniors. We had 4 juniors in the starting lineup and a freshman. So that's how we rocked the entire year. And, I had a good year. I was taking over the point guard role. I was, learning the offense to a greater extent, to where, where Coach McGee would just trust me with the ball and trust my, my decision making. And, we had a good season, but we also we understood that we're all coming back for the next year. So my junior year I ended up getting I think I was second team all conference, which was good. We won 20 games every single year that I was there. So when I say we had a good year, for a lot of teams it's a great season, but it was good for us. We had high expectations every single year in and year out. So junior year, we lost a couple games that we should have won, down the wire games, games within 5 points. And it felt like, we were learning to close those games out. Whereas to senior year, when we put that same starting lineup out on the court, we were winning these games. We were winning them, and it felt we were comfortable playing in these close games. And so junior year was more of a get ready for senior year. That's basically how it panned out. Obviously, we wanted to do things our junior year, but it didn't work out that way. We should have been in the NCAA tournament, but we felt like we got, the selection process. It is what it is. But that junior year, we geared up for senior year. We brought back everybody, and we were ready to go.
Now, the big year, your senior year, you had a big storybook season. All right, so let's talk about your senior year. So you were an All-American. You guys went 27-4. Talk about that experience.
Senior year, I couldn't have asked for a better senior season. I had fully, I feel like I had not perfected, because you can always get better, but I had fully understood, the point guard role and what my coach was asking for me. And, after 3.5 years basically of having the ball in your hand and the coach not even questioning you, you understand that there's a level of comfortability where you can, just play your game. And I felt like I played a free basketball, basically. I had all of the coach's trust. He gave me the keys to run his team. So I had, I was just playing free, and we had a great season. My teammate Devon, he was a preseason All-American. He had just come off a season where he was first team, should have won Player of the Year, and he was averaging, 18 and 10. Josh Bradenise, he was second team All-League. We had glue guys like Prince, and then, a younger guy who was a sophomore at the time, DeAndre, who was also an All-League selection. So we had a lot of talent, and we had developed talent because we had just played that entire junior season together, where, know, we had growing pains, and our senior season, we just put it all together. You know, everybody got better. Everybody understood their role from last year. And, you know, as soon as the season started from game one, you could just tell it was going to be a special year. You know, we went up to AIC. We won 2 games against any 10 teams, which are, you know, they're regarded as the top league in the region. You know, we had, I think we finished out of conference 7-2, and we kind of ran through our conference. And every single game, you know, we felt like we were just getting better and better. We all, you know, we understood how everybody plays. And, you know, not a lot of teams have, you know, teams where they could start 4 seniors. And, you know, we were starting years and a sophomore, but that exact starting lineup was the exact starting lineup we put out on the court my junior year. So when it was all teams together, and to have that kind of chemistry, you know, you could just tell, you know, the ball was moving, you know, there weren't any egos. Everybody just knew their job, their role, and where everybody was going to be. And, you know, for me, I just felt like I was kind of the quarterback. I was just the leader, and I was playing free. You know, nobody really rushed shots. You know, I never really hunted points. You know, my gameplay, I'll get everybody going, and then when the going gets tough and I need to go get mine, then I'll go get mine. And, you know, everybody knew what their job was. Everybody knew what their role was. So my senior season, it was kind of, I got the ball in my hands, and I made plays, and we were able to come out on top on some close games that we had lost in the previous season. So to go 27-4 with that group, it was special. You know, we got up to I think 7th in the country, and to be top 10 in the entire country in the sport is ridiculous. So, you know, we had a really, really good team, and you know, I just played basketball. You know, I felt like everybody did their job, did their role, and, you know, when it came down to it, you know, I was able to make some plays in some crunch time situations. And, you know, for me, I just kind of try to do it all. You know, I didn't feel like I had to play like hero, where I had to go get 30, 10, and 10, you know, like you said, where I was, you know, I averaged like 15.5 points and, you know, over 5 boards, almost 6 assists. You know, that was what, you know, my team had needed me to do in order for us to win. And, you know, that's the type of player I am. I do what it takes. I don't need to just get 30. I'm completely happy scoring 0, having 13 assists, and we win by 20. I love, you know, watching my teammates do well as well. And I feel like that's important, you know, when you understand that you can get in the second half when the team needs you, or when everybody else gets it going. You know, it's a good sign going forward, especially into playoffs and stuff like that.
So based on you guys' record, you guys could have played in the NCAA tournament, but unfortunately, this beast we all know as COVID-19 came and disrupted a lot of things for a lot of people. You know, how tough was that, knowing that you wouldn't be able to play in the NCAA tournament again your senior year?
It was just heartbreak. We were just heartbroken because we knew we weren't going to be able to do it again. You know, the 4 seniors, we knew this was it. We had a sense, you know, even if, you know, the NCAA was going to grant spring sports another year, we knew that we had just completed 31 games. There was no way they were giving us another year back. And on top of that, we were, like you said, we were 27-4, and we were top 10 in the country. So we felt like we had a chance to go all the way, like not just win the region. We felt like we had a chance at a national championship. And for us to not even, you know, get the chance, you know, just took the drive. We were in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the time. And as soon as we got off the bus, within a half hour, that was when we got the call. Yeah, the NCAA tournament is canceled. And it was heartbreaking for all of us because we knew it was special. You know, you don't have a lot of seasons where you can go 27-4, and teams that go 27-4 and do the type of things we do, they make noise in March. And March is where you really make a name for yourself. And for us to put in the type of work that we did in the preseason, and, it was all leading up to March. We know everything we did back in August was all going to pay off in this tournament. And to just not even have the chance to, put that work in and try and cut down another net, it was heartbreaking. But, I got over it. It was hard, but I eventually got over it and understood there's bigger things coming up. And, but yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's still hard because, we were third on we were third in the East. We felt like we had a pretty good draw, and, we had beaten a lot of those teams that were in the tournament already. We had saw a lot of them. We felt like we could beat all of them. There wasn't a team that we were, we felt overmatched. We felt like we were the best team in the region. So that's why it hurt a lot, especially as a senior. That's why it hurt.
Yeah, man, that was tough. Shout outs to the graduating class of 2020 out of Jefferson U, man. And yeah, shout outs to you for, achieving what a lot of people these days don't get, a college degree. What did you major in while you were in college?
So I majored in business management. So, I had going into college, I knew I was going to major in business management because, I'll be honest, I had no idea what I wanted to do coming out of college. If I wasn't, going to play, basketball after college, I knew I was going to need a 9-to-5, and I didn't know what exactly I wanted to be just yet. And I felt like a business management degree, in 4 years would give me, enough time to figure it out, because I knew I wanted to do something within business and management and stuff, and then get I also got a minor in psychology as well. So, I did business management too.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. That's big right there. A college degree will definitely take you a long way. So what's Kylan Guerra doing these days now that school is over?
These days, I'm working out because I signed with an agent to continue my basketball career. Back in January, which nobody really knew, I was drafted by the Guaynabo Mets in the Puerto Rican Professional League, but that was postponed due to COVID. So right now, I'm in negotiations with teams in Portugal and Mexico and also Puerto Rico. So, but like you said, the beast of COVID is just not letting up. There's a lot of people who are jobless, both on, just people who have regular, 9-to-5 jobs trying to provide for their families. So right now, I just work out every day. I stay, just staying in tip-top shape, touching the basketball, going to get shots up, running around the neighborhood, going to the gym and lifting, whatever it is I got to do to make sure my body is fully ready, so that as soon as I touch down, wherever it is, and hopefully in the near future, that I'm ready to go. As soon as I touch down, I know preseason is a grind, and, especially doing it throughout prep school and college, it's a grind. And those 6 weeks, you want to be prepared for preseason. You don't want to walk in and just be like, all right, preseason's going to get me right. Because sometimes preseason, it kicks your butt, and you just, you got to deal with that. Some people I never had to deal with it because I always felt like I was ready for preseason. I do a lot of running when I'm at home. I stay in shape, but I know a lot of people who have nagging injuries from preseason where I feel like, they had to take off days to recover. But, for me, it was always just be ready for the preseason, not even, just the season. So I'm staying in shape. I'm doing what I can. I'm playing basketball, and, I'm ready to go once the opportunity presents itself.
So this is one of my favorite parts of the podcast. So this is a question that I always ask my guests, but leading up to the final question. So if you could go back in a time machine to 2015, what would you tell 17-year-old Kylan as he's graduating from Stepinac and heading into prep school and doesn't have an offer yet?
I mean, stay with it because, you know, the hard work is going to pay off. You know, going into prep school, you know, I felt like it was my last chance to get it done. And, you know, knowing now, you know, I'm happy that I was able to, you know, stick with it and continue being the best version of myself. Because, you know, 5 years ago, you know, I have a special relationship with my assistant coach, you know, Coach Jimmy Riley from Philadelphia University. You know, 5 years ago, I didn't know him, you know, so to come across somebody like that, you know, he wasn't really just an assistant coach. He was like a second father to everybody on the team. He took care of everybody's injuries. You know, he took care of, you know, classes. He took care of basically everything anybody need. He stayed up watching film for hours. I mean, the man would get maybe 3 hours of sleep a night. And, you know, sometimes you come across people like that, but not a lot of times you do. So I definitely want to shout out Coach Riley as well. But yeah, 5 years ago, just stick with it because it's coming. You know, you never know what kind of doors could be open. You know, I didn't go into my senior season thinking, oh, this is the year I'm gonna become an All-American. This is the year I'm gonna win Player of the Year. This is the year I'm gonna, you know, all region, all district, you know, Philly Player of the Year. Those weren't goals that I set for myself. But, you know, it kind of just happened. You know, it's weird to say it like that, but, you know, when you have a certain work ethic and a certain grind where, you know, the sky's the limit. And I felt like, you know, 17-year-old me, like, he probably would have liked to hear that, you know, just to stick with it, make sure your grades is on point, and, you know, probably also to, you know, appreciate what his parents has done for him too, because that's you know, when I was in college, I was in school where I was away from my parents, and I was away for 9 months. But when I was running, you know, my parents were the ones running me around left and right, everywhere I needed to go, all the way up until I actually dormed in college. So also to have a deeper appreciation in the present time for what, you know, my family is doing for me. And, you know, definitely, you know, shout out to my mom and dad, because they did it all, and it was no questions asked. So, you know, and then, yeah, just stick to the grind, make sure, you know, grades is on point, which I never really, you know, had an issue with, but just, you know, sticking to it, because it was definitely an opportunity. Opportunities come. They, you know, you just got to run with it when they come. And I felt like I did that for a lot of my time playing basketball for schools.
You can also give your agency a shout out, man. I'm sure they'd love to see this.
Shout out, yeah, Paris Global Sports. You know, he's working hard for me right now. And, you know, I don't like posting, you know, every type of movement that I'm making. But, you know, as soon as if I sign with a team, I'll definitely let you know. You know, I'll let you know, I'll give a little post here and there so people could see. But yeah, you know, he's working hard on his end, and, you know, it's my job to, you know, work hard on my end. So as soon as he gets, you know, a paper and a destination, I'm ready to touch down and do my thing. So we're both doing work and what we got to do.
Final question: what's next in the future for Kylan Guerra?
Next in the future, I mean, you know, I want this game to take me as far as it can. You know, I want to travel while I'm young. I want to be able to travel the world and, you know, use basketball as a ticket to a lot of these places. You know, I want to, you know, go to Europe, you know, even, I know a lot of these places are nice places, England, Spain, Italy, Greece, France, like those countries are, a lot of people want to visit as just, vacation and spend time there. But for me, that's part of my motivation where, basketball could be a ticket for me to, explore these countries. But, for right now, for what's next in the immediate future for Kylan Guerra is just, hard work and continuing to get better at the game of basketball, because right now that's where my mind is. My mind has, been there for a long time. So immediate future, I want this game to take me as far as it can.
Well, Kylan, thank you for coming on to share your testimony, and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward with your professional opportunities, man.
I just want to say one thing for, I feel like a lot of upcoming athletes, they get wrapped up in the whole I have to go D1 thing. And I just want, I want to be an example that, you can go to a D2 school and have an amazing career that, you wouldn't have at a specific D1 school. There's a lot of kids who I've seen, they just want to go D1 to say they went D1. And, they put on the warm up, they take all the pictures, but they're not really, getting the burn. And then in turn, they're not having fun with the game anymore. So, for me, I'm glad I learned that when I was younger, to go where you're loved and go where go where they want you. Because, you could have a great career. If you have a great career at D3, D2, or D1, it's high level basketball at each of those, at each of those divisions. So the only advice I could give advice to the younger generation is don't sit around waiting for a D1 offer if you have, schools that want you and can vision for you for 4 years. Because, like, personally for me, I wanted to go to a school where I would be there for 4 years. I didn't want to transfer. I wanted to make the school my home, and I wanted to, embrace the city, embrace the culture around the campus. And that's why Philadelphia University, which is now Thomas Jefferson University, was the perfect opportunity for me. And, there's a lot of kids, and there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of talent in White Plains, and, like, there's a lot of talent around the country. But, a lot of people shouldn't be afraid going D1, because it shouldn't be D1 or bust, because you never know what forcing D1 can do for you when you can also have a solid career at a lower level and still make noise, So I just wanted to say that, because I know a lot of people do get wrapped up in the when, you don't. It's high level basketball everywhere. This game can take you a lot of places, and it's not just for D1. So that's just some advice I could give.
No, you that just like Kylan, that was perfect, man. That was a great way to end this off. You just gave these kids some jewels. Hopefully they listen to this message. But once again, thank you for coming on to share your testimony, and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward.
I appreciate you, Dave. Thank you.
Indeed. Well, everybody, this is episode 78 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to my man Kylan Guerra. He's an exceptional athlete, but an even better person. For those from White Plains, Stepinac, Jefferson/Philly U, Kent School, and wherever, go check out this episode on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. And also, shout outs to Paris Global Sports. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
All right. Paris Global Sports.
Yeah, that's it.
So, everybody stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.